Welcome back to Issues of Faith, talking about forgiveness and a remarkable new book that's out, Forgiveness in the First Degree. It's written by Phillip Robinson and Ron Hammer. Ron Hammer murdered Phillip Robinson's father, and Phillip Robinson has forgiven him. Ron Hammer has now written a book along with Phillip Robinson about their journey to forgiveness, and they're here with us. And so as we went to break, I said, you testified, you and your mom testified, went to the prison and said, or I guess before the parole board in the prison, and said, we want him paroled, we want him out. But not everybody supported you doing that.
Yeah, my mom got a lot of flack from her friends, especially. Anybody that is bent toward law and order, they have a hard time understanding. Early on, people were saying, hey, these guys should be hung at the town square. And it was easy to buy into that. And I had men who my dad's age, I was kind of counting on to maybe speak a little grace into my life. And even those guys were saying, you know, your dad was a good guy, he shouldn't have died. So his parole hearing comes up in 2014, and I knew I was going. I wasn't sure about my mom, but she decided to be there, and we both spoke on behalf of Ron's release. We knew when we got there it was really strange. You sign in on a piece of paper, and it's family member after family member, and you have to check a box if you're speaking in for or against, and it was against, and we did for. So you got the idea, well, this is a bit unusual what we're stepping into.
Absolutely. And I guess what happened then? So you testified, and how shocked were you to be there and hear them saying, I think they should get out?
Beyond words. I was so emotional I could barely speak. The weight that lifted off of my heart, it was just unreal. It was just a godsend. I mean, I could see the mighty power that God had working through Mrs. Robinson and Phillip. It was just undescribable, unexplainable.
So
you're forgiven.
And again, it was your father.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think he would feel? Do you think he would want the people that murdered him to stay behind bars? Do you think he would be happy that you're there testifying to release the person that was responsible for his death?
Yeah.
How do you think your dad would feel?
Well, we know where he is as a Christ follower. He's in Christ, and so in heaven there aren't any regrets, and he's in the perfect environment where forgiveness rules and reigns. I mean, it's a grace-filled kingdom, so I'm sure he's delighted. He's delighted when Ron became a Christ follower in '96. So yeah.
Did anyone ask you that? Was that a question people had?
Really, you're the first person to ask me that a few months ago.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, because I would think if people were angry, and I could see how some people would be like, how can you do this? Then they would say, well, what would your dad think?
I guess because he's been, that happened so many years ago, or almost 30 years ago, that most people don't really think maybe in that context.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but it has been a fascinating question to explore.
And so you got out, and what did you do next? What happened next?
I got out on April the 2nd of 2015, paroled to Virginia to my mother's house, and more or less just spent time with her. I was asked by the parole board, what do you want to do when you get out? And I said, I want to sit in church and hold my mother's hand, as I did when I was a child. And God made that come true. I mean, we get to go to my pastor's church, which is Carter Dean, which is here today with us. He made a trip down from Virginia, and it's just a God-touching thing. I mean, God blesses me every day. I mean, as soon as I wake in the mornings, it's just I start into praising Him and thanking Him for working through Phillip and his mother to believe in me and to be willing to put their reputation on the line and speaking in my behalf, because that's something unheard of at a parole hearing. People just doesn't have that kind of compassion for their fellow humans as the Robinson family has toward me. Even Philip's sister Debbie, which I just recently met this weekend, and I had a chance to talk to her and asked her for her forgiveness, and she said, "Ron, I have already forgiven you."
You feel a real sense of responsibility to go forward and be worthy, I guess, of this forgiveness.
My thing is I don't want Wayne Robinson murder, that I took his life. I don't want it to be in vain. I want something good to come out of it. I want that is my purpose in life. I want people to when you wrong someone, I think that the humanity thing to do is try to correct it, and whatever it takes, and to serve the Lord, and is one way is that it makes such. When you do something for someone else, it makes you feel better about yourself. And I think I just don't want Wayne Robinson's me taking his life to be in vain. I want something good to come out of it.
What do you want people to take away that struggle with forgiveness? I mean, this is the most extreme of circumstances. People struggle with forgiveness for all kinds of things, but what lesson can be taken from this?
Well, for a person to receive forgiveness from another person is coming in contact with God. I love a Lewis Smedes quote where he says, "To forgive is to walk in stride with a forgiving God." So as Christ followers especially, we get the opportunity to reflect Him in people's lives when we live a life of grace, mercy, and forgiveness. When I think about the purpose of the book, I had a friend, one of my endorsers, he called me halfway through and says, "Philip, this is disturbing." And it took me back because I thought, he doesn't like it. No, but it was stirring him up. And from there I thought, well, maybe our purpose is to wreck people, R-E-C. We want to draw people to a Redeemer, to know that He's alive and He redeems. So there's a story of redemption. We also want to encourage people who may be on the journey or who have completed a forgiveness journey, so that they can be encouraged to know, hey, we're on the sidelines cheering for you, so to speak. And then the challenge. One of my bad theologies is I'd slipped into being Pharisaical and thinking that when Jesus died on the cross and spilled His blood to cover the sins of mankind, He didn't have to spill as much blood for me as He did for other people.
Or me.
Yeah, well, Ron and some others, yeah. And so, because I thought I was a good person, but the Bible tells us that none of us are righteous. So I want to make sure that the Christian community that reads this, they check themselves and make sure they're not sliding into being law and order versus grace and mercy.
Once you start reading, it's hard to put down. And I really like the way you all did it, back and forth, and seeing each perspective. It's so hard just to put people into this category, that category, and write them off. And I've heard the purpose of forgiveness is that it helps us.
Yeah, it frees you up. Yeah.
We are so burdened with our, I guess, our unlike or hatred or whatever of another situation or person. Did you find that? Or you had already forgiven?
Yeah, they say that, when you forgive, the person you set free is yourself. So, yeah, I mean, you're releasing yourself, and you're basically saying, I'm not God, I'm going to trust God with it. And you just give it up. You don't necessarily have to have a restored relationship. I didn't expect to ever hear from really Ron again, nor to develop a pen pal relationship, and to, in the course of that, come to the point of saying, hey, you think we should write our story down in a book? So anyway, here we are.
And in the final minute or so, what do you hope people take away, understand from this?
I don't really, it's hard for me to comprehend when someone can forgive someone who took their father's life. But when I received Philip's letter that he had forgiven me, the power and the impact it had on me, and the life-changing experience, because I told you I had lived in condemnation. Even after I was serving the Lord, I'd given my life to the Lord, and I was still hadn't reached the bottom, because I still had a wife that was coming to visit me. It's been with me for 20 years, like I said, I didn't know the full impact, how he felt, but I know what it did to me, how it changed my life. And that is what I'd like for people to take away is when reach out to people and let them know you forgive them. I mean, some people does it, forgives it, and they don't ever tell the victim or tell the person. They just do it within themselves. But if that person knows, it changes their life dramatically. It changed my life dramatically, where I wanted to be more like Philip, more like Christ. I want to walk the earth like Jesus did.
God has used this horrible tragedy. Thank you both for sharing your story. Forgiveness in the First Degree. That's the book. Forgiveness in the First Degree. Remarkable book. Thanks everyone for watching Issues of Faith. Have a great day, everyone.